Hey guys, and welcome to Project 3 edition for Horde. We put a lot into this game, so let's get right into it. First things first, some controls have changed. We have force field and mini-map implemented, and that's for F and R for player 1, and semicolon and P for player 2 on the keyboard. We also added controller support for the Xbox One controller. So the controls for that are left stick for movement, right stick for aiming, which is really a great addition. We can finally have players looking a different direction than they're moving. You can fire or drop a crate if you happen to be holding one with right trigger. You can consume health with X if you have any health potions. You can switch weapons with Y. B for force field, left bumper for minimap, and then you can navigate through the shop with the right arrow and buy an item with A. One thing to note is that if you have just one controller, you can still hook that up and it'll allow player 1 to use the original keyboard controls and player 2 to use that controller. So our major addition for this one is the co-op Horde mode, survival mode. And basically in that, you and the other player are on a team fighting off waves of a variety of different enemies. That can include just the regular enemies you see in the PvP mode, the HVTs or big ogres that you see in PvP, but also a number of new enemies like the laser enemy, the exploder enemy, the area of effect enemy, and like a skeleton. There's also a few new events in this mode, and we'll see them as they happen. So here's our map, and here we go.
The monsters are coming.
So as you can, round 1 is in the middle. We've also moved a few things around. You can see that we have a little force field icon on each corner for each player. So when I press B, my player 2 on the right side, his force field will appear, his little icon will disappear, and then there's a short cooldown for 5 seconds. And after the 5 seconds, it'll reappear, and I can use the force field again. Force field just blocks people from you. It'll also, if you apply it when you're activating it, it'll apply force to those enemies, and they'll bounce off and take a little bit of damage. So for now, we're just wiping as many enemies as we can. They're going to track after us at all times, so they're going to be constantly running. We can use the minimap, as my brother Toby, who's helping me play, just used. You can see where enemies are. So there's just one enemy in the corner that's running after Toby right now. We can kill him, we can get on to the next level. There we go, level 2 started. You can see there's a lot more spawn on the map. What you just heard, by the way, was the quarantine. And he just said, get to the ponds. Toby happens to be in the ponds. You can get over there in time. Otherwise, as you can see, the rest of the map got covered in some kind of poison, we'll say. And it does area of effect 5 damage per second when you're inside of it. So you want to get to the safe zone. It gives you 15 seconds to get there after it tells you where to go, and then 30 seconds in the quarantine. One thing that is a plus is if there is a quarantine going on and you die, it won't spawn you back in the middle like it would normally spawn you in the ruins. As you can see, as I die, spawn back in the middle. It'll actually spawn you over in the safe zone so that you're not covered in area effect damage immediately as you respawn. So we'll keep going, and soon we're going to start seeing some new enemies. One thing to note is that we are both using Xbox controllers, so we can face any direction as we're moving, which is really, really nice. It works pretty darn well considering all the hoops we had to jump through to get it to actually work and not sacrifice the old controls. Because you can still use old controls when you don't have any controllers. Toby's fighting one of our first new enemies, that is the laser enemy. Just want to use this to turn my screen. They shoot a lot of lasers at you and they are tough, so you gotta play it really careful, use your force field correctly. They drop purple coins, which give you 5 points and 5 coins. Speaking of coins, guns cost a lot more in this. We can go over to the shop. definitely a lot more. So you have Big Boy with 50, Rapid Fire at 100. And if you saw there at the bottom, there is a grenade launcher for 200. And it's super expensive because it's just that effective. So we'll end up buying that later. Here's the skeletons that just spawned in. Skeletons are extremely fast, if you couldn't tell. That's their little gimmick. They will come after you and non-stop. Very fast speeds. And a lot of the events have been happening. See, it just sent me to the hilltops, that's the safe zone. It said, come get your health earlier. Forgot to mention that. That was the other event that happens. By the way, events happen on 60-second intervals. They switch off. So this little guy is an orangey. If you kill him, he drops an orange, gives you 1 health. Or 1 life, not health. It gives you 1 life. So that's how you get extra lives. 5 of them spawn on every health thing, because down the road, things are gonna get tough. So you want to gather as many lives as you possibly can. So oranges spawn, 5 of them will spawn randomly around the map and just wander. They won't run after you, they'll just wander around. So you just want to catch them and take care of them. We just survived another quarantine round, still getting items. Toby's using the Big Boy now. I'm going to save up for the Grenader so we can show that one off. We got another set spawned in. And yes, all of the voice lines were done by yours truly, which was a lot of fun. And yes, even the little noise that the orange guy makes when you kill him, that's also me. So just a few effects over my voice. Alright, here's another new enemy. This is the area of effect enemy. I'll show him to you real quick if I don't die. When you're in his area of effects, which you saw there, he does 5 damage every second, just like the quarantine zone. So those guys will try and get close to you, and they'll do a certain level of damage. They're not as hard because they're a little slower, but once they start spawning in bulk, they get a lot more dangerous. Let's get this orangey, get myself another life. There we go. There's a lot of strategy you can use with these enemies, especially the skeletons. They come at you so fast that you want to use your force field at the right time to make them bounce off you, especially when they come in larger packs. So quarantine's coming. It's going to give us a countdown when it tells us for 15 seconds. We got a lot of guys. It said pawns, so check the map. Cool. Ready to get to the pawns. Only a few enemies in front of us. We'll head over there. Toby died, so it spawned him over in the safe zone. Grab a coin. Let's get all these guys. Oh man, we got another wave in. Ooh, almost have enough for that grenade launcher. And I will show off our last enemy, which comes later down the road because they're pretty tough when I have the chance. Since we're at level 10, every 10 levels an HVT spawns. Big ogre there. Again, they just have a ton of health and do a ton of damage. At level 10, one spawns. Level 20, another one spawns. Level 30, 3 spawn, and so on. Once you hit level 55 will spawn, so there's a lot. Let's buy our Grenader. Our Grenader is a lot of fun. It wrecks enemies. Look at that. Does a ton of damage. So honestly, this is the weapon to get. It's very helpful. However, as you can see, it does damage to you. So you have to be careful with it. Gotta stay far enough away. Oh, and here's our new guy. This is the Exploder. I'll show you what he does. He's very fast, and when he catches you, he explodes. If you kill him before he catches you, he explodes again as well. So you want to kill them at a distance from you, so you can. And as you can see, I just killed myself with the grenade launcher. Lots of guys coming in. This is where it gets tough. This is where it gets really tough. So, since we've seen all the enemies, we're going to let ourselves die real quick. Just to note, there are 50 unique levels in the Horde mode, spawning a unique set of enemies. And there's a lot in here. So, I've been defeated. It's just Toby now. He has 3 health. So, I get frozen, and my game is over. Now Toby died. I ended with a score of 113. Toby ended with a score of 174. And so our overall score was 287, the high score of 287, because we just made our high score, and we also made our high score of time survived. So there we go. We can restart and on to our next one. PvP is largely the same. We'll show it to you real quick. Go into the dungeon here. See, everything you knew before. The Grenader is part of this, but since the map's in a lot tighter quarters, it is harder to use because you have to worry about hitting yourself with that grenade. So everything works the same. The new damage hit points that go in, and the point and coin little pop-ups that also happen, those are also implemented in this mode, so you can see when you're taking damage or picking up coins or getting points. So those fly out, they look really nice. The crate is in here. Toby's gonna try picking up that crate, but he's shooting too much. What he can't do is shoot, so he has to hold on without shooting. Okay, dropped it again. I'm gonna go try and get him while he picks it. Here I go. It's mine. Oh no, he's coming for me. I'm gonna drop it real quick. Grab it again. Put it in my force field. Ah, man. Here he goes again. He's really trying. So yeah, that's the general gist of our new additions. Another thing to note real quick is to avoid some of the lag that was happening in our previous version. We did object pooling for all the coins, all the bullets, all of the enemies. So now, instead of constantly instantiating and constantly deleting to enemies, you pull them from an object pool and then send them active or deactivate them. So yeah, it's great. So cache that crate in. Toby got the Grenader, he's doing damage. Yeah, basically, before the game ends, everything's the same as before in this other than the few added features, including the really great Xbox controller support. So yeah, there's all of our features. Thanks for watching.